Okay? Did any water go down the wrong pipe?
I think I'm okay now. Thank you so much.
That was scary. Well, at least you're all right. All thanks to your savior here. Oh, a little girl? Greetings, everyone. My name is Yao Yao. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Whoa, she's so well-mannered. My name's Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
I'm Dvorak, a musician from Fontaine. I came through Stone Gate intending to head towards Liyue Harbor, but then I became captivated by the beautiful scenery, and before long, I was completely lost. Just now, I was so mesmerized by the waterfall that I slipped and fell into the water. If it weren't for Miss Yao Yao's help, I shudder to think what might have happened.
It's all right, Mr. Dvorak. The splashing around the bottom of the waterfall means the stone path is always wet and slippy. Next time you're exploring an unfamiliar environment, try to focus on what's right in front of you. Don't let your mind wander. As long as you watch your step, accidents like this won't happen anymore.
Yes, ma'am. I understand. I'll remember to be more careful next time.
Oh, are you hungry, sir?
Oh, I'll be fine.
Please, sir, it's quite all right. I was born and raised here in Liyue. It's only natural for me to extend my hospitality to any guests who are passing through. I expect you still have quite a long journey ahead of you. It's very important to keep your energy levels up. I still have some lotus flower crisps left in my backpack. Why don't we split them between the four of us? Aw, what a thoughtful kid! She even has some for Paimon! You're welcome. Mmm, so tasty. If only there were more. Having a healthy appetite is a good thing. It means Paimon's still growing. If I'd known I was going to run into you, I would have made a second batch. Hope you're taking notes, Traveler. This is how you treat your Paimon. What do you think, sir? Are Liyue's snacks to your taste? I wonder if they're not sweet enough.
No, they're perfect. When I was traveling through Mondstadt, I had a chance to try one of their moon pies. It had a meat filling unlike these crisps. But apart from that, it seems like they follow a similar cooking process. Both are delicious in their own way. As for Fontaine's cooking, though, it's been a long time since I've had a taste of home.
Sounds like you spend a lot of time on the road, huh?
I do. It's part of my job. I'm one of the main organizers of the Iridescence Tour.
Iridescence Tour?
The Iridescence Tour is one of the biggest music festivals in Fontaine. We're looking to expand, though. Our aim is to hold a festival in every nation. At least, all the main organizers share this goal. Unfortunately, it's a long story, so I'll spare you the details. But anyway, so the main reason I'm traveling all around Tavad is to promote our music festivals. But I have some personal reasons, too.
Well, what are they? Just tell us already.
Let me see. Well, to explain it in full, I'd have to start with a story from my ancestors. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, I love listening to stories. We want to hear it too.
Okay, then I'll start from the beginning. The story goes that my ancestor, who was also a traveler, once slipped and fell into a lake during his travels. As he was sinking and gasping for breath, he heard a wondrous tune in the air. They say it was the most beautiful, even in that life and death moment. The ethereal music seized his full attention and almost made him forget the fact that he was drowning. When he finally came to, he found that he had already been brought ashore. Not too far from him stood an unfamiliar woman with an almost divine aura. Once she saw that he was no longer in danger, she left without a word. My ancestor tried to run after her to give his thanks, but although a mere dozen paces separated them, no matter how quickly he gave chase, he drew no closer and remained a dozen paces behind. In the end, all he could do was to bow in thanks to the woman as he watched her walk away towards the rivers and mountains in the distance, before at last he turned around and made his way home. Once he returned to Fontaine, he began to learn an instrument so that he could spread his story far and wide, just like the bards. After generations of retelling, embellishing, and dramatizing, people have come to think of that lady as something like a fairy. The story's become something of a local legend in Fontaine. It's called The Lady Overlooking the Lake. People now say that if you go down to the lakeside and play an instrument, so long as you play a pleasing melody, you will hear a fairy lady who is hiding out of sight, playing along with you.
Wow!
Well, yes. As it stands now, it's become a touch too romantic and detached from reality. But I understand the original story and its historical grounding better than anyone else. I wanted to find out the truth of this tale. So I decided to retrace my ancestors' steps and search for that lady's modern-day descendants. Of course, there's no way of knowing where my ancestor fell into the lake all those years ago. So I always knew that the search would be akin to looking for a needle in a haystack. I've spent many years on the road now, and I'm nowhere near as fit as I was in my youth. The wish that I've spent half my life chasing after has now become something of an obsession.
Well, I haven't lived half of my life yet, but still, I understand how you must feel. Paimon too! It's like... imagine if you saved the center of a lotus flower crisp, which is the best part, by the way, because you wanted to eat it another day, but then suddenly, sploosh! It falls into the water, never to be seen again! Paimon would definitely remember that for the rest of her life.
There's no need to feel sorry for me. I've made some progress over the years. For example, I've concluded that the story must have taken place in Liyue.
Oh, so you finally found a lead?
Yes, in fact, that's an intriguing story in and of itself. I'd always known that Mondstadt is the city of song and freedom, but more recently, I heard that the Animal Archon returned to Mondstadt for a festival in the fall, and learned that he himself is a patron deity of music. So I prayed for the Animal Archon's guidance in the Mondstadt Cathedral, and as soon as I set foot back outside the front gate, I noticed a cluster of leaves being blown in the wind further and further west, towards Stone Gate. A friendly local told me that this meant the wind was guiding me in the direction of Liyue, so I followed their advice and made my way here. Right? You get it. I knew I'd find someone that agrees with me eventually.
Are you sure? It sounds a bit too much like one of those fake legends told by those treasure hoarder guys to scam gullible grannies from Chingsa Village. Rex Lapis has returned to the world. Just give me some incense and a little more towards the travel fees, and I will pass your gift on to the Lord of Geo and ask him to keep you and your family safe and well. And so on and so on.
Don't worry, Yao-Yao. We have a lot of experience with deciphering omens and stuff. And anyway, you only got scammed if you handed over Mora, right?
Actually, to express my gratitude, I did spend rather a lot of Mora on several bottles of fine wine, which I left at the Statues of the Seven along the way.
Oh dear.
Well, how about this, ladies and gentlemen? Why don't I bring you all to Yujing Terrace to see Miss Ganyu? I don't know very many people, so I can't help you out much. But Miss Ganyu and the Qixing know just about everything. If you've been scammed, they'll help you get your Mora back. And if the wind was telling the truth...
But you've already helped me so much.
Well, I was going to take some new medicinal herbs and plants I picked to Miss Ganyu anyway, so it's no trouble at all.
You know what? It's been a minute since we saw Ganyu too.
All right, well, my sincere thanks to you all. I will never forget your kindness.
Okay, everyone. Please follow me. I'll be your guide. Remember to watch where you're going, okay?
Uh-oh. Paimon's out of a job. Oh well. Paimon will just be a cheerleader instead.
Liyue Harbor looks very different from when I came last. It's almost as if I'm listening to the same melody, but with a richer timbre and new variations added.
Well, we are here during Lanterite after all. It only comes once a year, so they always have a big celebration. It's fair to say that this time of year is when Liyue Harbor looks the prettiest.
Great! Let's go and check it out. I can't wait to get into the city and see it all up close for myself. The streets are breathtaking. Smiles and laughter everywhere I look. It's contagious. I can almost feel the music in the air. I have the urge to start waving my conductor's baton.
I'm glad that you're enjoying the city.
Hey, everyone! Fancy meeting you all here. What a nice surprise.
Hello, Xinyan. Let me introduce some new friends. They are...
Traveler, Paimon, and Mr. Dvorak, right? I've known them all for quite a while.
When I was last here to advertise a Liyue stop for the Iridescence Tour, Xinyan was one of the few people willing to give me the time of day.
Well, feels like I've been chasing this Iridescence Tour bandwagon halfway around the world, but I keep getting stood up. What's going on, Mr. Dvorak?
I'm so sorry, Xinyan. We've had a string of terrible luck recently, and every time we've tried to put on a show, something or other has come up to stop our plans from materializing.
Is that right? I guess it can't be helped. So, what brings you to Liyue Harbor at this time of year anyway? Thinking of putting on a music festival during the Lantern Rite celebrations?
A Lantern Rite music festival? Yes, please!
No, I'm actually here on personal business this time.
Oh, so no Lantern Rite music festival?
I mean, that's not just up to me. Hosting a music festival takes a lot of funding and personnel. Moreover, I've never worked with the Liyue authorities before. Even if I were to start putting something together right now, I think it'd be too rushed.
Wait, but we're going to meet the Liyue Qixing, aren't we? And they're the ones in charge.
Uh-huh, that's right. Miss Kuching and Miss Ningguang can make anything happen.
You mean... what?
This is the perfect opportunity! Well, sure, it might not work out, but it can't hurt to bring it up as a suggestion. That's the spirit! See, even the Traveler agrees with me. Mr. Dvorak, don't let yourself be put off by the fact that a few things haven't worked out recently. As for the performers, I can put you in touch with some local artists. My friend Yunjin is a well-known opera singer in Liyue. With her support and a commissioned song from the Yunhan Opera Troupe, we should be able to get something going.
But what about you, Xinyan? Are you just going to sit this one out?
What do you take me for? If we actually manage to make the Iridescence Tour Lantern Rite Grand Concert a reality, you think I'd let anyone else perform the opening act?
Wow! There's that rock and roll spirit!
What do you say, Mr. Dvorak?
Okay. I'll give it a shot. But the opening act is not something to be chosen lightly, Xinyan. I will judge your work by the strictest of standards, so please make sure you are fully prepared.
Are you kidding? I thought you'd never ask. Whew, guess my shopping time's getting cut short. I'm gonna head back right away and start working on this. Yao Yao, if you run into your senior on the way to the Qixing, please send her my regards.
Okay, I promise I will. Good luck with your music, Xinyan.
You've got this, Xinyan! So about the senior of yours Xinyan mentioned just now, is that anyone we know?
Yes, it's Xiangling. She's mentioned you two before. Xiangling's always thinking about cooking. Whenever she gets scrapes or burns, she just leaves them to heal by themselves. She definitely needs someone around her to look after her. I know you must have looked out for her a lot too in the time you've known her. So, thank you for that.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I think it's fine.
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are, you'll never be able to change anything in the future.
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're just being unreasonable.
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's not worth it. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it would be better than nothing.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask them some questions in person. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow, one of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to implement their plan as put forward in their manifesto. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us represent where each candidate stands on key policy issues. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished, huh?
Everyone took...
Of course, and keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. That's for me to know and you to find out. We can talk more after the interviews. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Qianwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you 2 are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing 2 entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after all.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, with your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Although I shouldn't get my hopes up.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, 2,347 cases. I have 12 active cases at the moment, They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the UA High Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, it would all come down to the results. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right, next question.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yuan.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Yi take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great!
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
I see.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Zhiyi's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason behind this?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. But I can tell you now. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only natural that they share some. But Xian Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Bo.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tian?
Xian Wei was referred to me by an old friend. We first met while fishing. Zhiyi came from a poor family. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out quiet. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies. No one can escape the cycle of life.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing. It just means I finally have a good reason to retire and spend my days doing what old men like me should be doing. Going fishing.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tian.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any preparation.
Fresh fish soup.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Zhiyi purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman. When we've been fishing recently, Zhiyi always brings some extra ingredients. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But it might...
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian, we've reported back. Do you have a...
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your judgment. Had you not asked me why Zhiyi's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final decision only after a thorough review of each candidate's talents and capabilities. Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. Look after yourself. So, it's gonna be Zhiyi, right? His manifesto was written well.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Huh? So, are you gonna give them more time?
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. Things are not always as they appear. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels. For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments, as Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, Go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Jur-E. Well, obviously, as the most promising candidate, we will be investigating him ourselves. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Wanyu Boutique? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for us.
That's actually not a bad idea. Let's go and ask him.
What's Bulai doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsetias ever. You won't find anyone who just... I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead, and neither of us wants that.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. I'll take all your stock. Don't sell a single one to Second Life. Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsetias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri. Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Juri never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family. He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If I could hire him to be the brand ambassador for Wanyu Boutique.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't looking for a brand ambassador too, are you? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... that's Juri right over there. Why don't we go and talk to him?
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
What are you waiting for? We won't hear anything at this rate. Try not to let him see you.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
My friend,
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set?
Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yuan? Seems like everyone thinks Juri's a great guy.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes fishing.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because you want to be Tianshu yourself, are you?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, I'll look out for you guys. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
Welcome. Please take a seat.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers. Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
Welcome. What would you like to...
Sorry to interrupt. We've heard about this young man called Juri.
Whoa! Yuan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's... How does that saying go?
Yeah,
But I'm afraid your Anglers Associate...
Oh?
He's good at a lot of things. His catches are always...
That sounds...
Sure thing.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Oh, it's so lively during the lantern night. And the streets...
Here to buy some fish? You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish...
Wow, she's...
Society for Fish Price Research.
Please, don't worry. We've heard about a certain Juri who's been selling fresh...
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I could tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
But of course, we also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, I can't remember. Probably 'cause it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jur-E?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Juri stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was strange about it? Juri seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of him, and Dugu Shuo seems to like him too.
True, but the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. That's a little over the top, if you ask me. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy, but beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor, none of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign. Right, and that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing. That's the worst-case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the truth.
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. What should we do? Even if we asked Juri about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues. Whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jur-E's manifesto on who we're dealing with. Come on, let's get back to Yanshang Tea House. Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere. All this reading is giving Paimon a headache. Let's take a break.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yeon's little helpers, Xianghua! If you're back, that means you finished investigating Qianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
You... Whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Ningbo.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Ningbo struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Ningbo at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so. Ningbo is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Ningbo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Ningbo gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper. I haven't seen it for myself, though.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
So that's what you meant by that. Paimon's starting to get it now.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
We still have a bit left.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Qiangshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Qiangshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Jur-E said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Qingshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Jur-E's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Jur-E? Is there another side to him too?
Come with me. Let us find shelter from the rain.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Standing guard ain't so bad.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think? These newcomers, who could have sent them?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team leader. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on the place. No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a clever move.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen the treasure. So, who's really behind all this?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that worker over there for now.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the newcomers.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learners, too. They're picking up all the skills unbelievably fast. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night, but they never let us join them. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's...
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor to drink at Wanmin Restaurant. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they went out drinking again right away. Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it, let them at it.
Interesting. Let's go talk somewhere else. Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going to intelligence updates. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow them and try our luck.
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here. But, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. But all the evidence has been destroyed. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents not long before we arrived.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the...
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned. There's only ash left now.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've got to go back there sooner or later.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned now. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else, to throw our investigation off course.
Darn! Guess this is where our trail runs cold.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar the moment I came in. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different odors when they're burned.
Really? Paimon can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing but ice as far as the eye can see. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance into their writing. When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan our next move.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to drag me out. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear anything about that at all?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there, and none of them mentioned anything about a recipe.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup...
Fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence. Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone suspicious.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show.
A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process. I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian entrusted me with the monumentally important task of assessing the candidates. And now, it falls to me to give him a satisfactory answer.
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get—
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets in. Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough, and because of his personality, he struggles to win people over. In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an excellent reputation in Liyue. After much consideration, I have decided to recommend Zhi to the Liyue Qixing.
What?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood. This is the last thing I want to be thinking about right now.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tian proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't mind knowing.
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave!
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got rid of them!
Lady Yelan, Zhi has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Zhi really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being seen.
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan's subordinates? I guess Zhi didn't let his guard down. Still as vigilant as ever.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired.
But how?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. Evading detection is not an unusual skill for him to have. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tien, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine. So, where did you lose him?
Xinyue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get close enough to check without blowing our cover. I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then, but without any evidence, that would have been meaningless. So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Xinyue kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. The key is figuring out what he's trying to achieve. Let's go to Xinyue kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you don't even ask him about it?
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just a little bit strange?
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did he buy while he was here?
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not something the average customer would order. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor and wineware. I see. Let's go.
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. Zhi ordered a wanware set from you not long ago, right? We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was. So we just had to come and take a look for ourselves.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Zhi's choice. Would you be able to show us the one he bought?
Zhi picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, it has the look and feel of a luxury. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Zhi has taken one, I'm afraid it may encourage the price to go up a little.
Don't worry, price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing.
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4. Mr. Zhi bought 2.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought. We'll have to mull it over.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell...
This is turning into a
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for being wholly incapable of tailing an ordinary civilian without being seen.
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your excuse?
Fair point.
Yelan, so has the plan failed? Oh, if we can't figure out where Zhi went, there's not much we can do. But why was he buying liquor at Xinyue Kiosk anyway? To celebrate?
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
What do you mean?
First of all, Zhi isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol, let alone buy a pair of special wine glasses. No, this is a victory feast, held in honor of Zhi's private sponsor. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status, hence the need for expensive-looking wineware. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description, I wonder?
Fatui officials. Should be either the Snezhnayan Embassy or the Northland Bank.
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many people as you need.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move? If so, you can count me in.
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation. Zhi may be vigilant, but that doesn't mean the same is true for his drinking buddy. In which case, we don't need to change tactics. Just change who we're following.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Zhi bought that liquor for and follow them instead!
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major diplomatic incident.
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Zhi is gambling everything on this. If we really want to catch him, we're going to have to accept a little risk ourselves. Stick to your orders, and make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Zhi might be going. I want eyes on those locations.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Zhi may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yansheng Tea House.
So this is a day in the life of a traveler. I'm learning more about...
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Jerry mentioned in his manifesto.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them that. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to worry about being seen.
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the jackpot this time.
The nightlife here is so vibrant.
This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me.
A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. The workers left it still. Be ready to fight it.
Don't worry. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll join us later. Quietly now. Gutsy. Really? Busted. Things are about to get dicey. As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
You guys see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Ji. Looks like he went through that door. That must be the emergency access route, right? Come on, let's hurry!
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
I wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
Unleash!
Unthinkable! Kamisato art! Sumetsu!
Rust and rebuild!
Take it easy.
Water's gone down! Hey, look!
Quietly now.
Animal test 6308. Stand clear.
Here comes the catch.
Absorption test. Stand clear.
Obey! The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
open. Let's go!
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Allow me!
Gotcha. Absorption test. Animal hypostasis. Manifest. Cryo incarnate. Sakura swirl.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine. Come on, bottoms up.
Oh, sorry. That went down the wrong way.
You'll get there. If you want to stay...
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after... I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an... what was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier as a result. How did you think of that?
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle Tien.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien Shu. Of course, this is as long as you continue to do as we instruct. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will inform you of in due course.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tien hasn't been feeling well recently. It's all Juri's doing. What a nasty guy! Seize him!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture it for posterity.
Ah, excellent liquor. We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure of Qingshu Pool. It's been a real headache for me. But soon, everything will be taken care of, and I can report back on a successful mission. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you still remember what I said to you?
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Qianwei had wealth. Mingbo had reputation. But you had... And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without complaining. Hey, heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui...
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now... Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use... How well this goes...
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like...
Whoa, this is the... Huh? Jur-E, you poisoned my wine? But when?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov. How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my... You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet? I don't want to bow down to anyone ever again. And that includes you.
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no explanation, the embassy will come after you. They'll get to the bottom of this. Mark my words.
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives, the ruins will collapse, and everything will be buried.
What do you hope to?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become one as the truth. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor. but things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental deaths of the entire crew. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, it explains why, of course, none of that.
Jerry, after I died.
A record?
What?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theo. He'll help me tie. He has been. Shh, shh, shh. Sweet dream.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything.
The game's up? Forgive me, I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do Nothing else you wanted to add?
One wrong move. You followed him here, didn't you? Let's talk about... When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous... I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice...
You still don't get it, do you? What do you think? Exactly. Jury, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have started out with, you threw it away in that moment.
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity, even if you'd done nothing at all. Out of everyone in the world.
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan. But you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yanshang Tea House tomorrow morning. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll be a straightforward deal.